Good morning, everyone. Now, welcome to the computer class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, Introduction to Java. This chapter we have already covered in class 8th also. But again, I am going to revise this in very short time. So now, please pay attention, everybody. So now, first of all, we are going to start from the Introduction to Java. Everybody knows Java is the third generation high-level programming language, and it is created by Mr. James Gosling in 1991 at Sun Microsystems. Java is a full-featured general-purpose object-oriented programming language. It was initially known as OAK. Java is also known as pure object-oriented programming language. So now, in this next topic, we are going to discuss the features of Java. Please pay attention, everyone. So nowadays Java is so popular everywhere. So why it is so popular? So please pay attention. So now we are going to discuss about the features of Java, in which we will discuss why Java is so popular. So now, because of the features of Java, Java is used everywhere. So number one feature is the object-oriented programming language. So Java is a pure object-oriented programming language. The second is platform independent. Third is write once, run anywhere. Now the fourth feature is open product, then security, then multi-threaded, then multimedia support, and the lightweight code, LWC. So now first of all, we will start from the object-oriented programming language. So why Java is known as object-oriented programming language? See, Java is a real-life programming language in which we work upon the objects and classes. So because using this object and class, apart from this, we cannot use any other concept in Java. That is why Java is known as object-oriented programming language. Now the number second feature is platform independent. This platform independent means where the platform means the operating system, and we can easily execute the Java program on any operating system without the retyping. This is the very basic and the important feature of Java. Now the third is VORA, that is write once, run anywhere. These features we have already discussed in class 8 also. So now in the third one, VORA, once you have written the program, the same program you can execute on other machines also without retyping. Only just you have to do copy and paste. So you can easily execute the programs once you have written on other operating system. Now come to the next one is open product. Now why Java is known as open product? Because it is easily available on internet. Everybody can easily download from the net, and this JDK, or you can say the Java, is freely available. For downloading we are not supposed to pay anything, but there are certain additional features. If we want to download those, for that we are supposed to pay, right? Now come to the security point. Java has so many security features, and because of this only Java is so popular nowadays in every field. Now multi-threaded means we can perform so many things at the same time. They are known as multi-threading, means at the same time multiple processes run on one computer. That is known as multi-threaded. Now multimedia support. Java supports the multimedia. That means in a program we can play the music, we can play the movie. At the same time we can do so many multimedia things. Now the last one we are going to discuss, that is lightweight code. Basically in comparison of other Java, in comparison of other programming language, Java consumes less memory in the computer. So that is why Java is known as lightweight code. Now after this, in the above thing, we have discussed about the features of Java. Now the first feature of Java was Java is a pure object oriented programming language. So now we are going to discuss what are the features of programming object oriented programming language. So there are 4 features that we have already discussed in class 8. Again I am going to discuss. They are the abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. Right? So please pay attention and recall the things from class 8, everybody. Now, first of all, we will discuss what is abstraction. Now, abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details. Now, for example, in real life, we can say we do not need to understand how something really works under the hood before you use it. A camera, for example, is a complex device, but we do not need to know how it actually works. The camera device provides a few buttons and controls to take a photograph, and you just need to know which button to press. When you press the relevant button, it will take a nice photograph for you. That is known as abstraction. Now come to the next point, that is encapsulation. Encapsulation is a mechanism that binds the data and code, or you can say the method, together into a single unit. It keeps them both safe from the outside world, preventing any unauthorized access or misuse. So in other words, in short, we can say encapsulation means wrapping up of data and method into a single unit is known as class. So here the data means the variable on which we work in a programming language, and the method is a place where we work on these variables. So in the combination of both is known as the encapsulation, and the encapsulation is a very, very essential part of the Java programming language. Without this encapsulation feature, we cannot write any single program in a programming language. So that encapsulation shows the class keyword. Without this using class, we cannot start any single program. So encapsulation is a very, very important point under this object oriented programming language. Now the third point is inheritance. So please pay attention. Inheritance is a powerful mechanism by which one class acquires the properties of another class. That means you might have studied the term heredity in biology, which means children inheriting characteristics of their parents. For example, hair colors, nose shape, and eye color. Similarly, Java, being an object-oriented programming language, allows one class to inherit from the other. So, in short, we can say under this inheritance, we inherit the properties from one place to another place. So now, the class which inherits the property from the other class is known as derived class, and the class which gives the property to other class is known as the superclass or base class, or you can say the parent class. So this is also a very important feature of object oriented programming language. Now come to the last feature of OOPS, that is polymorphism. Like in the polymorphism, the word polymorphism means many forms, where poly stands for many and morphism stands for forms. It comes from the Greek word poly, meaning, again I am telling you, many, and morphism means form. Polymorphism is the ability of a method or an object to acquire multiple forms. For example, please try to understand. Polymorphism is a mechanism by which we can send the same message to different objects, and each object can respond in a different way depending on its own class. Welcome back everyone. In the previous class, we have discussed the basics of Java, their features, and the features of object oriented programming language. in which we have discussed the whole thing is totally depends on classes and objects. In the object oriented programming language, the class and objects, these two things are very important. So now let's discuss what are the classes. A class is a template or blueprint for multiple objects with similar features and may be regarded as a specification for creating similar objects. Due to this reason, class is also called an object factory that is used to produce multiple objects of the same type. Or you can say it is a group of similar objects having some characteristics and behavior. In the real world, you will often find many individual objects that are all of the same kind. For example, there may be thousands of other washing machines that have the same make and model as in your house. Each washing machine has been built from the same set of blueprints and therefore contained the same attributes and behavior. In object-oriented programming terms, it is said that washing machine at your home is an instance of the washing machine class. Objects that share the same attributes and behavior are grouped together into a class. Once a class has been defined, we can create many objects belonging to that class. So, an object belonging to a particular class is known as instance of that class. Therefore, we can say that a mango, that is a fruit, is an instance of the fruit class. The terms object and instance are often interchangeable. Now let's focus on the other part, that is what is object. Objects are the basic units of an object-oriented programming system. An object is an identifiable entity that has a set of attributes, behavior and state. So now let's focus on the subparts, attributes. Attributes are the individual characteristics that differentiate one object from the other. Now, behavior is defined by the set of actions an object can perform, and the state is defined by the set of values held by its attributes. Now, the important part is here. Once a class has been defined, we can create many objects belonging to that class. An object belonging to a particular class is known as an instance of that class. Now, apart from this, just try to understand the whole concept of class and object with the help of a small one more example. Now just take an example of your section in which I am teaching just now, 9C. So here we can easily understand that 9C is an example of class, and each and every student which is studying in this section is an example of object. So now each object, as I have told, each object is an identifiable entity that has a set of attributes, behavior and state. So here each object means each student of 9C. So each student having attributes as well as behavior and states. For example, under attributes you can include first name, last name, class, date of birth of a student, color of your eyes, address, etc. Now under the behavior, like what he does, like sleeping, walking, running, studying, driving, playing. Now under the state part, what comes? The values. For example, the name of the student. For example, the last name of the student in which he is studying, that is 9C. Date of birth, like 15th of September 2017. Color of eyes, blue or black. Address, like Vineet Khand, Gomti Nagar, etc. So these things are the objects, and each object representing which class? The class 9C. So those who are studying in this 9C, they belongs to 9C only. They cannot sit. They are not supposed to sit in any other section. Why? Because these group of students belongs to 9C only. So this is the best example of class and object. Now come to the type of Java program. So basically in Java we can write or we can implement two types of programming, two types of program. The first one is Java applets and the second one is standalone Java application. Java applets are the program that run in a web browser are called Java applets. So for executing Java applets we need a web browser. Without web browser we cannot execute the Java applets. Now in the other part, standalone applications are not required the web browser. You can easily execute standalone programs on a separate machine without the web browser. So now in the next video or in the next class we will discuss about the how we can execute our Java program on the machine and how we can